Call of Duty is one of the best-selling gaming franchises ever, coming in at over 400 million game sales, with the mobile game topping 500 million downloads. Despite these monumental achievements, the franchise's reputation is scarred by a decline in innovation, care, and moral standing, with large amounts of microtransactions that often hold back more than skins. However, Call of Duty has remained strong in its ability to generate revenue and game sales well after what is thought to be the franchise's peak years ago. Even as the first-person shooter market continues to receive entirely new franchises, the yearly Call of Duty releases topple the video game market in its first month, often setting new records and taking over the gaming discussions all over the internet. The success of Call of Duty from the beginning to now is undeniable from its repeated dominance every year, even if people continue to call it out for needing more time to cook in the kitchen to become a truly fine gym. New fans and those who grew up with the franchise continue to buy seemingly from a place of joy. They are not looking for new games to bring variety to their life, as they know what they enjoy: the smooth, fast gunplay of Call of Duty that has achieved a level of invincibility in gaming franchises that so few have, particularly in the FPS genre. No matter what is said online or how the games are reviewed, Call of Duty and the IRS maintain an inevitable force of obtaining what they each desire: your money. Call of Duty was an instant success back in 2003, as not only did it sell enough for the franchise to jumpstart to what it is today, but it also won the British Academy Game Awards and the DICE Game Awards Game of the Year honors. Other Game of the Year winners in 2003 included Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, Prince of Persia The Sands of Time, and Madden NFL 2004. Don't sleep on OG Madden, alright? They pop up a lot. This is one of the few times ever that Call of Duty has won any Game of the Year awards, and it is done in such a good company that the franchise's success was almost guaranteed from the first game. Over the next 4 years, Call of Duty refined its shooter formula to provide better experience for gamers than its competitors like Halo and Battlefield. It wasn't until 2007 that Activision pushed for Call of Duty to be something more than just a shooter carried by campaigns. This pinnacle year ultimately has given the franchise what we have today, and that game is of course Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. A gritty but stellar campaign brought a new level of intensity with its stakes and new cast of characters that remain favorites in the community. Infinity Ward pulled Call of Duty out of its World War II days and sent the franchise on a trajectory that meant no turning back, as the game was the third best-selling game of 2007 as it was released in early November. Coming behind only Halo 3, a firmly established series that reached its climax with an ending to the trilogy with amazing multiplayer to back, and We Play, which if you didn't know, largely sold with the controller for $50. The game was a good fit for the Wii, but in no way are the sales reflective of the game's overall quality. The NPD comes up with the sales data for these games, and before 2007, there was no list, but only a few numbers here and there, and a bestseller. COD 4 may not be the first top 10 seller of the year, but it is regarded as the greatest Call of Duty by many, and next year's COD fell to 6th in the year as the Wii continued its gaming conquest. The next leap for Call of Duty came in 2009 with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and thus began Call of Duty's dominance over the gaming industry. Releasing on November 10th, Modern Warfare sold nearly 9 million copies in the last 2 months of the year, propelling itself well into first place of the year. A year that was heavily dominated by the Wii, as it had 7 of the top 10 best-selling games. The campaign, while short, had missions that have achieved immortality in the Gaming Hall of Fame for the sheer intensity and shock felt. The short campaign meant even less, as the multiplayer was everything of COD 4, but more, as even the engine received an upgrade. According to Activision's revealed sales figures, the first day sales in US and UK reached $310 million, making it the largest entertainment launch ever, beating GTA 4, which had set the record the previous year. Starting with Modern Warfare 2 in 2009, Call of Duty would lead the sales numbers year over year until 2013 with the release of GTA 5, which would beat out Call of Duty Ghosts. Each game made more and more money and only continued to grow the franchise as Treyarch upgraded the Zombies mode from World at War and made it into a staple of the Black Ops series, while also inspiring some Infinity Ward spin-offs that never reached the same level of hype. In 2012, Black Ops 2 topped off the streak with a 24-hour grossing sales reaching the $500 million mark. It was of course topped by GTA 5 the next year, but still incredibly impressive, as Call of Duty remained at the peak of all first-person shooters and yearly released franchises. Call of Duty Ghosts was not a failure, but did show a decline in sales from Black Ops 2. We now know that this didn't matter, as the next year Call of Duty went back to its place on top of gaming. After Call of Duty Ghost's shortcomings, the COD fanbase largely agrees it was at this point in 2013 that the franchise truly began its decline, and it would only compound over the years with a few outliers. Advanced Warfare came next in 2014 and undoubtedly began splitting the fanbase. Press F to pay respects. As the style of the game started to change from boots on the ground to fast-paced gameplay that was boosted with the use of jetpacks allowing airtime and quick travel. According to Eurogamer, Advanced Warfare sales were down 27% from the previous year's Call of Duty Ghosts. Despite this, Advanced Warfare was the best-selling game of the year and jump-started the trend of Call of Duty leading sales year over year again. Similar to its last stretch, Call of Duty led for another 4 years, from Advanced Warfare until World War II. The streak ended in 2018 when Call of Duty's kryptonite, Rockstar, released Red Dead Redemption 2. During the streak, Call of Duty continued to simply march on, only reaching a status quo with no real drive to strive higher, except for maybe Black Ops 3 and World War II did pretty good. The MPD found that Black Ops 3 sold significantly better than Advanced Warfare in the first week, and the trend only continued through their lifetimes. Unfortunately, following Black Ops 3, the next game released in 2016 was a real stinker. Infinite Warfare may have topped the charts by outperforming Battlefield 1, but by Call of Duty standards, it was a flop that was felt by consumers and Activision themselves. Overall sales were down by 50% compared to Black Ops 3. To top it all off, in February of 2017, Activision released a statement admitting that sales were below expectations and that they learned the sci-fi setting of newer games was not resonating with fans as much as previous CODs had. It was at this point that sci-fi Call of Duty was scrapped altogether and has not been seen again. The next year, Call of Duty bounced back with World War II, which by the end of the year, it was announced that the game had grossed over $1 billion worldwide. Curiously, World War II is one of the more forgotten games as it was in the middle of Call of Duty's mediocrity. It's not recent and didn't start the downward trend, but it simply continued and grossed $1 billion from Activision's new development, the use of microtransactions, which had appeared in Black Ops 2, but only to outright purchase skins and extra class slots. It wasn't until Advanced Warfare that those devious employees at Activision began pushing loot boxes. After Advanced Warfare, loot boxes exploded in Black Ops 3 as it had the advantage of being tied to Black Ops series, which was the most popular release after Modern Warfare died down. About 1/3 of Black Ops 3 income would come from microtransactions, as loot boxes were used to unlock cosmetics and DLC weapons. Not even zombies were safe, as the shitty gobblegum system only filled Activision's pockets even more. The money-making only continued through each game with loot boxes, DLCs, and storefronts that allowed for items to be bought outright. Luckily, in 2018, Black Ops 4 was released to little praise. It came with the Battle Royale marking it a first for Call of Duty, but continued to push fans away as loot boxes were back and DLC content was forced through season passes with no options to individually purchase things such as maps. While it had a similar launch to most Call of Duty games, Activision announced in February 2019 that the game did not meet sales expectations, but still probably made the money from the sheer amount of microtransactions plaguing the game. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 was the second best-selling game of 2018, behind the juggernaut Red Dead Redemption 2, which would go on to sell 50 million copies by 2022, which is more than any other Call of Duty ever has. A true win for quality over quantity, and Red Dead Redemption 2 definitely deserved Game of the Year, fuck God of War. Call of Duty can't fail on a general scale, but for Activision, it can fail by not improving or meeting the expectations built by the previous title. Black Ops 4 was a failure that ultimately was a win for gamers, as the following Call of Duty did away with loot boxes and was probably the most well-received since Black Ops 3. Call of Duty Modern Warfare was released in 2019 as a reboot of the older franchise with past characters like Price and Ghost. Perhaps it was nostalgia, or maybe Activision forced Infinity Ward to make a good game. I don't know, but it was a very large success. It beat many Call of Duty sales records, but even some larger scale ones like most digital sales on PS4 in 3 days, the best Call of Duty launch on PC, and Activision's most successful digital launch. All the while grabbing its spot on top of gaming as the best seller of 2019. In less than a year, it was reported that Modern Warfare had sold a remarkable 30 million copies in September of 2020, while also having the most concurrent players during that month for any COD during that time in their lifespan. Modern Warfare was statistically an amazing release and was actually welcomed by the community. The campaign, gunplay, and new edition of Warzone created a lot of happy fans for the first time in a few years. Most of the negatives came down to the maps and the game's use of a battle pass system that was spreading across gaming like wildfire. A battle pass system had been used in Black Ops 4, however, most of the content you did actually receive for free. This new Battle Pass was more like other games as most content was paid, although it was just cosmetics. 2019 once again got Call of Duty back into the lead as Call of Duty would once again start leading gaming in sales year over year for the third time. Black Ops Cold War sold very well, but is not remembered as a good Call of Duty as most of the success probably came from the pandemic. This seems more evident as the NPD also ranked Modern Warfare 2019 as the second best-selling game of the year. Call of Duty as the 1 and 2 of the year is crazy because every year there will be groups of people only saying the worst about the games. The reviews anywhere from Call of Duty are never good, and yet the series still has life. More life than any other franchise in gaming besides Mario and all of his plethora of games. In 2021 it happened again. Call of Duty Vanguard was number 1 and Cold War was number 2. Another back-to-back, probably once again reinforced by people unable to do much else but game. Unfortunately, Call of Duty Vanguard was not good, and despite leading in sales, did not reach Activision's expectations, saying it was probably due to World War II setting and a lack of innovation. I mean, at least they admitted it, and I'm not talking about the setting. Finally, we have reached the end as Modern Warfare 2 once again blew up the charts to overtake Elden Ring for the #1 spot while earning an additional $8 million in 3 days and $1 billion in 10 days, smashing many franchise records. This puts us in the present with Modern Warfare 3 appearing at number 2nd on the charts for the year, as it was reported the game sales are down 38% from Modern Warfare 2 in the first 3 weeks of sale. Even though the game is practically a copy of Modern Warfare 2 the year before, and completely feeds off nostalgia with maps and the campaign, the numbers are still more than any other yearly release, and they managed to do that every year. Going back to 2007, when the NPD started getting a top 10 list together, Call of Duty has never been below another yearly release in game sales. It is always on top of those, and more often than not, on top of all of gaming. There's no more innovation. The games are being recycled, microtransactions are everywhere with bundles and battle passes, and the quality is not what it used to be as maps play unlike Call of Duty, and Activision is still making so much money off their fan base. Unfortunately for you, there's nothing wrong with that. Call of Duty is a video game. It is a game you choose to play that you actually have to spend money and then download. It's not given to you by random, and nothing forces you to play, yet you play or don't play and still complain. It's not your game. It might have been your game 10 years ago, but you have changed, not Call of Duty. You have found other games that have taken your attention away to something you prefer more, and that's great. Innovation is still happening in gaming. Think of Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate, Hogwarts Legacy, God of War, and even something so small as Stray. It's not 2012 anymore. So many games exist that you could never even play half of the releases a year. I think that sounds right. It's why you don't like what used to be your favorite game. You found interest in new things. When you come back to that old thing you love, it's not the same because unlike your new game, it stays the same. The same thing you played years ago, or even every year. Call of Duty doesn't need to innovate because the majority of people who play it like it for what it is. Otherwise, it would be dead, or at least continue to only decline. A lot of places on the internet only act as an echo chamber that makes you think everyone is on the same page. However, some people keep to themselves and enjoy what they enjoy. They won't argue with you on Twitter, and they won't join the subreddit to only cry about the state of the newest game. They will play the game they want, and they will enjoy it. Perhaps it's the only game they ever even have time to play. Some people work, take care of family, or have other hobbies that come before gaming. Call of Duty can just be the casual gaming experience that they throw $60 into every year. Maybe that doesn't work for you, but honestly, that's too bad. Play something else. I stopped playing Call of Duty after Black Ops 3. I lost interest in the arcade nature of the game and started playing more competitive and quote-unquote realistic shooters, picking things up like CSGO, Star Wars Battlefront, and the Borderlands franchise. After that, I just started playing a lot of different things outside of shooters in general. Call of Duty was an amazing experience, but it got old, and I changed my way of thinking about what I wanted to play a game for. Fast forward to 2022, and I'm feeling the casual shooter itch. So I picked up Modern Warfare 2 in about December or January, I'm not sure when, and things just clicked into place. It felt just like it used to when I would just sink hours into BO2, MW3, and BO1. Time flying by as I unlocked more and more weapons and attachments to go with them. It was a childlike feeling, and I must have played 100 hours in less than 3 months. It was at that moment that I understood why Call of Duty is still successful. It's the same game it has always been. a casual fast-paced shooter that has campers, slur slingers, and that one annoying bitch running around with a knife. A simple experience that takes no time to learn or master. I took a break after February, but I even came back just last month in November and tacked on 50 more hours of camo grinding as I neared the Orion camo. If you're wondering, I didn't buy MW3 because I had no reason to. This is another big point, but I don't think people buy COD every year. I think they buy one when they want and then buy another when they feel they've reached their finish line. Maybe I'll buy next year's COD or 2025's COD, or maybe I'll never buy another again. It all depends on me and how I feel when another comes out. It doesn't matter to me what my favorite YouTuber says about the game or how the reviews look, but how I see the game and how it makes me feel. MW3 looked lame and very similar to MW2, so I felt satisfied with the previous title. It is all up to you, and your wallet I guess, because they are full releases. Similarly, I haven't played or purchased Baldur's Gate 3 even with the enormous hype, simply because it doesn't look like it would entertain me, and that's all there is to it because you need to play for yourself. I know Baldur's Gate 3 is an amazing game that packs hours of excitement, but right now it's not what I'm looking for, and that's it. If you don't like Call of Duty, then that is it. There's no argument, no reason you need. It's your opinion and you don't have to play or even look at it. However, that means you can't get on other people for liking it because it's their choice to play whatever they feel. Because in the end, Call of Duty is a success built on numerous achievements that are rivaled by so few in the industry and none in the genre. It'll live without you because it's a good game that provides for the intended audience that keeps buying every year or every time they feel like it. Call of Duty doesn't need you, so move on and play the game you need. Thank you for watching, everyone. I would love to hear what you think in the comments. Do you still love it? Why did you stop? What are you playing instead? Anything is greatly appreciated as I'm always checking. And if you're gonna hate, be civil because, you know, I don't want people looking in there and starting to fucking yell like we're in MW2 again in that shitty lobby. But hey, you do you, and make sure to take care of yourselves out there. And until next time, see you later.